Okay, here we go. Let's share the screen. Okay. Okay, do you guys see that? Yes? Someone say yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I see
Yeah.
that.
Now,
Yes.
more importantly, if I do
No, I don't
this,
see it actually.
Oh, this is, Okay.
No, I see that.
Omar Rav. So Rav says, and we start. Here we go. Omar Rav. Rav says, Tol Baruch, Tol Baruch. If somebody says while they're making the bracha, or after they make a bracha, here, take a piece of bread, right in the smack in the middle of the bracha, Eno tzarich levarich. He doesn't need to say the bracha again. Haba melach, haba liftan. If he says the bracha and then he says, bring me salt or bring me some kinds of spices, tzarich levarich. He needs to make the bracha again. We're talking about someone who sits down to eat a meal, and right at the beginning, when he makes the bracha, what he does is he first says hamotzi lechem min haaretz, and then here, take some bread, and then he takes a bite. The question is, did he cover himself with that bracha, or does he need to make the bracha again? So regarding taking a piece of bread, he's fine. But if he asks something which has nothing to do or not directly related to the bread itself, then he has to make the bracha again. That's Rav's opinion. Rav Yochanan Amar, but Rav Yochanan had a different opinion. He disagreed. Afilu haviu melach haviu leftan. Even if he said, bring me salt or bring me some spices, bring me some hummus, some tchina, whatever he wants, Nami ain't tzarich levarich. He also does not have to make the bracha again. And then, so that's another layer, a little bit less strict in terms of hilchos brachos. Third level, givil l'torei, give food to the ox, to my animals. Give food to my animals, meaning after he made the bracha, he said, give food to my animals. Then he takes a bite of bread, tzarich levarich. Then he has to make another bracha. V'Rav Sheshes Amar, but Rav Sheshes disagrees. He says, Afilu gavil l'torei. Even if he says, give food to my ox, Nami eno tzarich levarich. He also does not have to make another bracha. So this finds halachic expression in the Rambam where he says, Kol habrachas kulan, any bracha you make, no matter what it is and what food, lo yafsik ben habracha ben hadavar shemavarchen alav. You cannot have a break between the thing you're making the bracha on, between the bracha that you said and the thing you're making a bracha on. Bidvar machirim, with any other unrelated topic. V'im hivsik, and if you have that break, tzarich lachzor u'varich shniya, you have to make a second bracha to make up for it. V'im hivsik b'dvarim shehem me'inyan dvarim shemavarchen alav. But if the break relates to things that are connected to the topic that you're making the bracha on, eno tzarich levarich shniya, then you don't need to make a second bracha. Ketzad, how does this work? He made the bracha on bread, and before he ate anything, he said, Haviyu melach, bring me salt, Haviyu tafshil, bring me some dips, Tenu lefloni le'achol, give bread to this person to eat, Tenu ma'achol lebehema, or give food to my animal, he does not have to make a second bracha. So directly related to this Gemara, we see exactly where the Rambam gets it from and how he paskins. He paskins in the most lenient manner possible. The Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav. Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rav, it's forbidden for a person to eat anything before he feeds his animal. Shne'emar, as it says in the pasuk, this is in Parshas Ekev, V'nasati Esav besarcha lechem, I will give grass to the fields for your animals. V'hadar, and after it says that, v'achalta v'savata, you will eat and you will be satisfied. So the full pasuk, v'nasati esav b'sarcha levamtecha v'achalta v'savata, from Kriyas Shema, very famous pasuk. First, the pasuk talks about food for the animals, and then it talks about food for yourself. So this is a major halachic question, whether if you have pets, you have to feed them first. Not the time to get into that now. Onward. Amar Rava bar Shmuel Mishum Rabbi Chanina. Rava bar Shmuel said in the name of Rabbi Chanina, Ein ha-botseya rasha livtsoa. The botseya is somebody who is breaking the bread or is cutting the bread. So it's really the Baal Habayis, the person who's, orchestrating the meal. He's sitting there and he's the one who's going to make the bracha and break the bread. So Ein ha-botseya rasha livtsoa. The botseya is not allowed to cut through the bread. Ad shiyaviu melach o liftan lifnei kol echad ve'echad, until they bring salt and spices before every person who's eating at that table. Rabba bar Shmuel Ikla Levei Reish Galusa. So Rabba Bar Shmuel went to the house of the Reish Galusa. The Reish Galusa was essentially the head political Jew in Bavel. It was an assigned position from the government. So he went to this. So Rabba Bar Shmuel went to this very important person's house. Apikule Rifta. So they brought him some bread. They brought the rabbi the bread. The rabbi was going to make the bracha for everybody. And he broke the bread immediately without any salt or spices in front of all the people. So they asked him, Hadar Mar Mishmate, have you recanted? Have you gone back on your own teaching? Amar Lahu, so he answered them, Leis Zin Sarech B'Shesh. This kind of bread, we don't need to wait, because the bread that they were serving at the Reish Galusa's house, since he was such a rich person, a well-to-do person, the bread was so delicious that it didn't need any salt or spices to give it the status of a special bread. So he didn't need to wait for that to happen. Omar Rabba Bar Shmuel Mishum Rabbi Chia. Now, the Gemara is about to go into something that's entirely unrelated to the previous teaching. So the question is, why is this new teaching coming over here? And the answer is because, as we just saw over here, Omar Rava Bar Shmuel Mishum Rabbi Chanina. So the Gemara goes on to teach more things by Rava Bar Shmuel Mishum Rabbi Chia. So this rabbi, they took all of his teachings and put them in one place. Ein meraglayim kalim ela b'yeshiva. That meraglayim, which is urine, is never completely emptied out of the bladder except when the person is sitting. Amar Rav Kahana, so Rav Kahana says, but if he's urinating on soft dirt, even if he's standing, it still empties his entire system. But if there is no loose dirt, he should stand in a high place and then urinate onto a lower place. Another teaching by the same Amora, again completely unrelated with the Gemara's current topic, but we're going to go through a few of these. Amar Rava Bar Shmuel Mishmei de Rabbi Chia. Achar kol achilascha echol melach. After everything you eat, you should eat a little bit of salt. Ba'achar kol shtiyascha shtei mayim. And after anything you drink, if you drink wine, if you drink a harder liquor, if you drink apple juice or whatever, any mitts, any kind of, grinding up fruits, whatever you want to drink, shtei mayim. You should always drink water after that. V'ata nizok, and you will never come to any harm from your eating or from your drinking. Tanya nami hachi, and we learned a similar halacha in a brisa. Achar kol achilascha echol melach. After everything you eat, you should eat salt. V'achar kol shtiyascha shtei mayim. And after everything you drink, you should drink water. V'yata nizok, and you will never come to harm. Tanya idach, and another brisa related to what we just said. Achal kol ma'achal v'lo achal melach. If anybody ate anything and doesn't finish with some salt, shata kol mashkin v'lo shata mayim, or he drank any kind of drink and doesn't follow with some water. Bayom yid'ag mei ruach hapeh. From during the day, we're concerned that he's going to have very bad smelling breath. Uvolayla yid'ag mipnei askara. And during the night, we're worried about askara. Askara is a kind of disease, which I guess is kind of similar to modern day. Oh my gosh, what's the? Forget what the word is. But when somebody can't breathe very well, their throat kind of constricts. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. That this kind of disease will come to a person who doesn't do these things. Interesting to note that this halacha is in the Shulchan Aruch, written by Rav Yosef Karo. It is not in the Mishnah Torah, written by Rambam. And that's significant because Rambam was a doctor. So Dr. Rambam, you'd expect it to be in his book, he does not mention this halacha. I guess in his time it didn't apply, or whatever you want to take from that, that is just something to point out. Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in a brisa, Hamikapeh achilaso b'mayim eino ba liyodo chole me'ayim. If somebody drowns his food with a lot of water, meaning he drinks a lot more than he eats in his meal, eino validei chole me'ayim. He's never going to have stomach issues or intestinal problems. Vikama, and how much should he drink? Amar Rav Chisda says, Kiton lepas, a full ketone is really a jug. I know it translates here as a cupful, but a ketone is a jug, and not so clear how big their jugs were, but a whole jug of water for a loaf of bread, and also not so clear how big their loaves were. But that was the size that they would drink. Amar Rav Mari, Amar Rav Yochanan. So Rav Mari says in the name of Rav Yochanan, Haragil ba'adashim achas l'shloshim yom. If somebody eats lentils once every 30 days, monea askara mitoch beso. There will never be askara in his house. And askara was the disease we mentioned earlier. Achal kol yoma lo. But he should not eat them every single day. Lentils are good to eat only once every 30 days, once in a while, but not every single day. My time, what's the reason? Mishum dikashel reach peh. Because the Gemara is concerned he's going to have bad breath. Reach peh. So this is something that the Gemara was concerned about. But Amar Rav Mari, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Mari says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Haragil b'chardal achas l'shoshim yom. If somebody eats mustard once every 30 days, monea chalaim mitoch beso. He'll have no sickness in his house. Achal kol yoma lo, but he shouldn't eat it every single day. My time, and what's the reason? Mishum dekashel acholsha deliba, because it weakens his heart. It makes him have a softer heart. Now I don't know exactly what this means, what the Gemara meant. Maybe more prone to heart attacks. I'm really not sure exactly what the Gemara meant by this, but apparently it's not good for the heart to eat mustard all the time. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Ashi Amar Rav. Rabbi Chia bar Ashi says the name of Rav. Haragil bedagim kitanim. If somebody eats small fish, he's never going to have intestinal problems. And not only that, but as someone who eats a lot of small fish, he's going to have a lot of children. Umavrin kol gufo shel adam, and it strengthens the entire body of a person. So a lot of interesting bits of medical tips that these rabbis are saying from their time. Amar Rav Chama Rabbi Chanina, Rav Chama the son of Rabbi Chanina says, Haragil beketzach ena balidei ke'ev lev. Someone who eats ketzach does not have any heart pain, or we might say heartburn, these kinds of things. Ketzach, it's not exactly so clear what it is, and now's not the time to go into all the opinions. Meisvei, there's a contradiction. Somebody challenged what we just taught. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, ketzach echad mishishim samane hamavasu. Ketzach is one of 60 lethal poisons. The hayashen lemizrach garno damo barosho, and someone who sleeps close to the east of a place where they store these kinds of things, his damo barosho, literally his blood is on his own head. He's endangering his life. Lo kasha, so it's not a problem. The Gemara is going to answer. Ha berecho, ha bitamo. One is when he smells it, and that's the dangerous thing. Ha bitamo. And one is when he tastes it or eats it. So interestingly, incredibly, eating this thing, eating ketzach, was the safe thing and the healthy thing, but smelling it, that was the dangerous thing. And the Gemara goes on to relate a story. Ime the Rabbi Yirmiyah apayale rifta. The mother of Yirmiyah would cook loaves for him, umedafkale umekalfale, and she would stick this ketzach into the bread so it would absorb all the flavor, umekalpale, and then she would scrape it off so that he wouldn't smell this food, but he would taste it and get the health benefits of this food. Okay, that was a very long piece. Very quickly, anybody have any questions up to this point? No. Okay, so we'll go on. So now the Gemara is going to go back to the Mishnah. And we learned in the Mishnah the following. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Bore Mine Dishaim. Rabbi Yehuda says on Berakhos, on vegetables, the bracha that you should make is Bore Mine Dishaim. Not Bore Pri Adama, Bore Mine Dishaim. And we saw, this is the Mishnah. Ketzad Mevarchim ala Peros. Where, how do we make brachos on peros? And it talks about all different kinds of peros. The al hayrakos, and on Berakhos, Omer bre pri adama, should make a hadama. Rabbi Yehuda Omer bore mine dishaim. And this might look a little more familiar to you. The same exact Mishnah in the Gemara. Back on Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph. So this is back a whole bunch of days, but now we're going to actually talk about it. Amar Rabbi Zera v'itema Rabbi Chinina bar Papa. Rabbi Zera said the following, and some say it wasn't Rabbi Zera, some say it was Rabbi Chinina bar Papa. Ein halachak Rabbi Yehuda. We don't hold like Rabbi Yehuda, meaning we don't say the bracha b'rei minei d'sha'im. We say b'rei pri ha'adama. V'amar Rabbi Zera v'itema Rabbi Chinina bar Papa. And the same machlokas, either Rabbi Zera or Rabbi Chinina bar Papa, said the following: My time of Rabbi Yehuda. What's the reasoning of Rabbi Yehuda? Amarkra, because there's a pasuk that says, Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. Blessed are you, Hashem, Yom Yom, day to day. Is it the case that we bless Hashem by day and not by night? Ella, no, that's ridiculous. Of course we bless Hashem by night. Ella lo marlacha. Rather, this is coming to teach you. Kol yom v'yom, every single day. Tein lo me'ein brichosav. You should give the brachos that are appropriate for that day. Hachanami. So here also, kol min tein lo me'ein brichosav. Every single species of food, you should give a specific bracha for that species. Therefore, Rabbi Yehuda had a more specific bracha for certain types of vegetables, and he said, Barimine Disha'im. The Omar Rabbi Zera, V'itemu Rav Chinina Bar Papa. Rav Zera said, and some say it's Rav Chinina Bar Papa. Again, same kind of thing, where we're teaching a lot of the halachos of one person, or in this case, it's we're not sure who said it, but in all the cases where we're not sure who said it, either Rabbi Zera or Rabbi Chinina Bar Papa, we're bringing all the halachos said in both of their names right here and organizing them in one place. Bo or A, come and see. That the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu of God are not the ways of human beings. Midas basar v'dam kli rekan machzik. It's the way of human beings that a empty vessel can take in more things. Male eno machzik, but an empty thing cannot take in anything else. Or rather, a full vessel cannot take in anything else. Meaning, once you have a bowl, if you have a bowl that's empty, you can fill it up. But if you have a full bowl, you can't fill it up anymore. Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu eno kain. But Hashem is not that way. Male machzik rekan eno machzik. That if someone is full of what? Full of Torah Hashem, machzik, then he'll be in a position to take in even more wisdom, even more knowledge, even more Torah. Rekan eno machzik. But if someone's empty, it's very hard for them to take in and grasp more new concepts. Shine Amar, as it says in the pasuk, Vayomer im shemoa tishma. And it says, if you will listen. Now, Shema Tishma, in Hebrew, what it really means is you should really listen, really pay attention. The double lashon of Shema, Shema Tishma, is a stress on the word Shema, but the Gemara takes it into a different way. And this is how the Gemara explains that double lashon. Im Shema, if you listen, Tishma, you will hear more things. And that's the way the Gemara explains. It's a little bit of a drash, not exactly the way the pshat of the pasuk is, but it's a beautiful idea nonetheless. The imlav, then if you don't listen initially, lo tishma, you won't be able to hear anymore. That's one explanation of the Gemara. Davar acher, another explanation. Im shemoa b'yashan tishma b'chadash. If you listen to the old things, the things that you learned long ago, and you review them, and you go back and you study things that you learned when you were very young, tishma b'chadash, you will hear new things. And this is something I can tell you from personal experience. If you go back to things that you learned when you were much younger and review the notes and review the things that you learned when you were much younger, things you thought you understood understand them in new ways, and it really expands your mind, and it's a really, really wonderful thing. I hope every one of you experience that and do experience that now. The im yifne Levavcha, shuv lo tishma. But if you turn your heart away from what you learned before, shuv lo tishma, you won't be able to learn anymore. So that was all that Gemara up till now. We're going to go a little bit further, but one more time, anybody have any questions, comments, anything to contribute at this point? No. Okay. So onward into the next Mishnah. Berach al peros ilan bori pradama. If someone, the bracha to make on this is talking about a case of a mistaken bracha. If somebody made the wrong bracha on fruits, berach al peros ilan. If somebody made the bracha on fruits of the tree, bori pradama, he said a ha'adama on a tree food, yatsa, then it's okay, he's fulfilled his obligation. Va'al peros ha'aretz, but if he took a vegetable that grew from the ground, bori pri ha'etz, and he made a ha'etz, lo yatsa, he's not yotze. There's a lot of discussion about this, why it's the case, not the time, but onward. Va'al kulam, but on any food, on fruits of the ground, on fruits of the trees, im amar shahakol nibidvaro, if he says a shahakol, yatsa, then he is fulfilled his obligation. That is the Mishnah. So let's look in the Rambam. This is Hilchos Brachos, Perek Ches, Halacha Yud. Is it this one? No, it's this one. Yes. Berach al haperos. If you made a bracha on fruit, ha'ilan, of fruit of the tree, bori pri hadama. If you made a hadama on fruit of the tree, yatsa, then he's yotze. Balperos ha'adama, bori pri ha'etz. But if you made on fruit of the ground, bori pri ha'etz, lo yatsa, not yotze. Al kulam, but on anything, in berach shakol, if he said a shakol, yatsa. Ba'afilu al hapas v'al hayayin. Even on bread and wine. Now, it's interesting because the rest of the Rambam, this entire section, all the way until right about here, is taken straight from that Mishnah. It's almost word for word exactly what the Mishnah said. And the last line seems to be something that Rambam is adding on to the Mishnah. I don't know exactly where he gets it from, but we see from right here, until Shakol Nibavro Yatza, all that is pretty much copy-pasted from the Mishnah into the Rambam as halacha l'maisa, and that's actually how we paskin today. So if you ever by mistake, make a hadama on a fruit, you're fine. If you make a ha'etz on a vegetable, you have to make another bracha. Man Tana. So who is the Tana? Who is the author of this Mishnah? The Ikar Ilan Arahi, who says that the main identity of a tree is from the ground. Because since the Mishnah said that if from a fruit of a tree you make a hadama, it must mean that really a tree, its main identity is from the ground. That's why ha'adama is an acceptable bracha for a fruit. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, Rabbi Yehuda this is the famous Tana, Rabbi Yehuda. Ditznan, as we learned in another brisa that we know Rabbi Yehuda wrote, Yavesh hama'ayan v'niktzatz ha'ilan, if there was a stream that dried up and the tree got very withered or cut down, niktzatz means to chop it down, literally, and a person wanted to bring fruits from this tree to the Beis HaMikdash for his bikurim, there are certain psukim that he'd have to say on fruits, generally speaking. The question is, does he have to say those psukim on these fruits? Maybe ve'eno kore. So he brings them and he does not say the psukim. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, but Rabbi Yehuda says, maybe ukore. He brings and he says the bracha. Because why? Because Rabbi Yehuda felt that the tree is not an essential part of the identity of the fruit. Really, it grows from the ground, and that's the more important thing. And therefore, even though the tree has been entirely cut away and it doesn't have a life source from the water anymore, you still have to make the bracha, or rather say the psukim for these fruits. And therefore, you make a connection between this Mishnah right here and the Mishnah we just taught and say they're both Rabbi Yehuda. Al Peros Haaretz. So now the Gemara is going to start talking about parts of the Mishnah. Al Peros Haaretz is talking about this part of the Mishnah. Al Peros Haaretz Bori Priya Eitz Lo Yatza. Not good enough. And you need to go back and make another bracha. So Pshita. It's simple. Why do you need it? This is so obvious. Why do you need to tell me this halacha? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, Lo nitzcha ela Rav Yehuda. We don't need it except for Rav Yehuda. The Amar, because Rav Yehuda says, Chita min ilanhu. He holds that wheat is a kind of a tree. Now, why does he hold this? For a very interesting reason, and this is one of the most interesting parts of this Amud that we have right here. We're going to talk about a very specific tree, the first tree that's mentioned in the Chumash, namely the Eitz Hadas. Eitz Hadas Tovara that Adam and Chava ate from, were kicked out of Gan Eden. Titania, as we learned in a brisa, Ilan she'achal mimenu Adam Harishon, the tree that Adam Harishon ate from, what kind of tree was it? Now, it doesn't actually say in the Psukim. Some people say it's an apple tree, but that's not true. It doesn't say that in the actual Psukim in the Torah. And the Gemara is going to bring 3 opinions about what kind of tree Adam Harishon ate from. Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir, first opinion, Geffen Haya, it was a grapevine, which is interesting because it's not even a tree. It's kind of strange. A grapevine is a vine. And we don't even say a ha'etz on grapes, we say hagafen. But nevertheless, Geffen Haya, it was a grapevine. Why? How do we know it was a grapevine? Because there's nothing in the world that brings suffering to man except wine. Wine is the thing that brings suffering the most to man. So it seems that what Rabbi Meir is saying, at least, is that the Eitz Hadas was a grapevine and the forbidden fruit was wine, which is a very novel understanding, very interesting way of looking at that. Shne'emar, as it says in the pasuk, Vayesht min hayayin Vayishkar. He drank from the wine and he got very drunk. Now, what's that referring to? That's referring to Noach. When Noach went out of the Teva, the first thing he built, the first thing he planted was a grapevine. The grapes that grew, he made wine out of it, and he drank it and got very drunk. And it brought him a lot of suffering. That's how Rabbi Meir knows wine brings people more suffering than anything else. In fact, every time, just about every time we see wine mentioned in Tanakh, it's some negative episode from Achashverosh's party and several other examples. Wine usually means not good things are happening when it's mentioned in the Tanakh. Second opinion, Rabbi Nechemia Omer. Rabbi Nechemia says, Te'ena Haisa, it was a fig tree. Now this is the only tree that's going to be mentioned of the three opinions. But this is the one that's most supported by the Psukim themselves. She badavar shenis kalkalubo niskenu. Because through the thing that they messed up with, they were repaired. They got the fixing. The healing came from the very place that they messed up by. What does that mean? Shinamar, as it says in the pasuk, "Vayisperu alei te'ena." They sewed fig leaves together. Now, what's going on over here? In the episode of Adam Harishon, the Psukim said they ate from the tree, and the first thing they realized, arumimhim, that they were naked. So what did they do? They took fig leaves and they sewed them together, and they made these makeshift clothing to cover themselves up, to cover up their private parts. So Rabbi Nechemia is saying, this seems to be an obvious implication that the tree that they ate from was the fig tree. They ate from the fig. They realized, oh my gosh, I'm naked. And the first thing they could grab was a fig leaf. They grabbed it and they covered themselves. That seems to be what he's saying. And that's the most pshat-oriented of these three explanations. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and now back to the original point. Rabbi Yehuda says, chita haisa, it was wheat. She'ein hatinok yodea likros abba ve'ima ad sheyit ta'am dagam. Because a baby, a child, does not know how to call to his father and mother until he's tasted the taste of grain. So since it's called the Eitz Hadas, the tree of knowledge, and we see that chita, wheat, marks this kind of development in the mental maturity of a child. Therefore, it must be that the fruit that they ate was wheat. So, salcha data chamina. So I would have thought to say, hoel v'amar Rabbi Yehuda. Since Rabbi Yehuda says chita min ilanhu, that chita is wheat is a kind of tree. Livrech aleh borei pre'etz. Maybe we would have thought to say ha'etz on wheat. Kamash malan. So it comes to teach us. Heicha mevarchin borei pre'etz. Heicha mevarchin borei pre'etz. So when do we say a borei pre'etz? Heicha dechi shechaltele lepere isei ligavna lahadar mapik. Only if you pick something off a tree, which itself can bring out more fruit, that's the kind of thing we'd say ha'etz. Only a couple more right to the end over here. Aval heicha dechi shaktele lepere leise ligavza lahadar mapik. But if you take from a fruit, from something which wouldn't produce the same thing again, lo mevarchen ali borei pri ha'etz, you don't say a borei pri ha'etz, ella borei pri ha'adama, rather a borei pri ha'adama. So that is the end of the Amud. Any questions? All good? Okay. Thank you so much for showing up, guys. I'm going to stop the recording.